Can you hear me okay?
What was that, sir?
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you now, yeah.
All right, would you please tell me your name for the record?
Christian Tapp.
Mr. Tapp, this is Bonneville County case number CR 1710908. Mr. Thomas is here in the courtroom. Are you going to be representing him in this?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And is that through the public defender's office or otherwise?
To the public defender's office.
All right. All right, then, Mr. Tapp, did you make an application for the public defender?
I'm doing that right now, sir.
Okay, all right, make sure you get that over to us. I'm going to act on that orally because Mr. Thomas is here. Do you have a source of income, sir?
Sir, I work for Yellowstone Plastics, but with rent and everything else, it's almost everything I make goes out, so.
All right, well, I'm going to provisionally order that the public defender's office represent you, but make sure you get your application filled out so we have it in the file, all right?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, you have been charged in Bonneville County case number CR 1710908 with domestic battery in violation of Article 18918 3B and interference with a telecommunication device in violation of Article 186810. So, sir, on those charges, do you then plead guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Based upon the record I have, I will enter the not guilty plea. Now, Mr. Thomas, do you want to be heard in terms of bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, Mr. Tapp, currently, as he's indicated, he's working at Yellowstone Plastics. I've been in contact with them. They are holding his job for him. He is going to be living with his mother. I've been in contact with her. That's at 121 Dalmatian here in town in Idaho Falls. So he has a place to live. He has a job held for him. I understand that he has a record, but frankly, Judge, you know, if there's one person in this town that is going to be at his court hearings, and if he's not going to be at his court hearings, everybody knows who he is. It's not like he can just blend in. You know, this guy's been on national TV over the course of the last several months. He is not somebody who's going to be running, and if he is running, we're going to be able to find him fairly quickly. So I would ask for a very low bond, Your Honor. I know that Mr. Tapp is indigent. He doesn't have money. He's got those issues, and so I would ask for a $2,500 bond. I know there's two charges here, so I would ask for a consolidated bond of $2,500. I think that's reasonable to get him here. It wouldn't be overburdening, and he could actually bond out.
All right, thank you. Mr. Tapp, do you want to say anything? Your clients, or your attorneys well represented you, but do you want to say anything in response to that?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I am going to set the bond then at $2,500, Your Honor. Yes.
I'd like to hear on that.
Okay, prosecutor would like to.
Thank you, Your Honor. And looking at this case pursuant to Criminal Rule 46, the defendant is allowed to have a bond in this case. However, in reviewing the facts alleged in this case, they are very serious in the sense that Mr. Tapp was alleged to cause a domestic battery on the victim in this case. He also would not allow her to call 911. For several minutes, she was not allowed to call 911, trying to leave to get away from Mr. Tapp, and he would not allow her to get away nor call law enforcement. In looking at this case, I will let the court know as well that before I went to lunch today, I asked my assistant to set up a meeting with the victim. I won't disclose what time that is set. However, when I got back from lunch today, I was contacted by law enforcement, and law enforcement indicated to me they have been listening to Mr. Tapp's phone calls. He has made at least 15 different phone calls to the alleged victim in this case. There is an NCO in place, and during those phone calls, Your Honor, he told the victim what to tell me at our meeting later today. So with that, Your Honor, I think there are some very serious safety concerns here. The victim is, in statements made to law enforcement, she's scared to death of Mr. Tapp. So looking at the factors the court considered pursuant to Criminal Rule 46, I haven't heard anything that would grant a motion for release to pretrial services or anything like that. And based on the facts alleged in this case, and also possible pending charges that will be coming, I would ask that each case be set at a $7,500 bond for a total of $15,000. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Thomas?
Your Honor, $15,000. Mr. Tapp's just not going to be able to meet that. I have instructed Mr. Tapp yesterday to not contact anyone, especially the victim, and I didn't know that there was a no contact order in place. I'm not sure that Mr. Tapp was ever served with that no contact order. If he wasn't served with it, then it's not valid. So I think, but Mr. Tapp is not going to make any more phone calls to the victim in this case until we're done with the case.
I mean, is there a no contact order in place now? When was that issued? I didn't think there was.
In looking at the police report, it indicates that the officer transported Mr. Tapp to the jail and booked him in and filled out an NCO. So
Okay.
that's the basis for that.
Okay, because I'm not aware of one.
The court doesn't have one in its file?
I don't. Now, if there is one out there somewhere, I'm not aware of it. It's not in this file, certainly. Okay, well, I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I am going to issue a no contact order at this time. Mr. Tapp, you're to have no contact at all with Stacy Tapp through any kind of communication, either through yourself or another person. You're to stay at least 300 yards away from Stacy Tapp at all times. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. This no contact order goes until October 17th of 2019, or upon its dismissal. There's going to be a hearing. When is that?
October 25th,
October 25th at what time?
9:15.
At 9:15, where you can talk to the judge about whether or not the no contact order remains in full force and effect. So that's that. So now there is a no contact order, and so I'm signing that at this time, and you'll be served that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Based upon the information provided by the prosecuting attorney's office, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $7,500 total. So it's $7,500 bond. If you bond out, sir, then I'm going to place you under the direction of pretrial services. So if you bond out, then your next stop should be at pretrial services or Mr. Thomas's office, one or the other. If you bond out and you get to pretrial services, there are going to be some things for you to follow. First of all, they're going to give you a test called a Global Assessment of Individual Needs, a GAIN. And once you take that test, it'll be graded, and you'll need to follow the recommendations that come from that test. I'm going to require you to take a domestic violence inventory. I'm going to require you to, again, strictly adhere to the no contact order, to stay at least 300 yards away from the alleged victim and the protected residences. I'm going to require you to fill out an application for the Bonneville County Domestic Violence Court, and then if you are accepted, then there will be some other conditions in regard to that. So, do you understand the terms of the pretrial services release if you bond out?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's going to be the order of the court for today, and we'll give these documents to Mr. Thomas, and that'll be all for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. McGrath.
Thank you.